Marie Curie's childhood laid the groundwork for her indomitable spirit. Growing up in Russian-occupied Poland, she faced the harsh reality of a nation stripped of its autonomy. Her father, a teacher of mathematics and physics, ignited in her a lifelong love for science. Despite limited opportunities for women, young Maria was fiercely determined to learn. After the passing of her mother and eldest sister, she threw herself into her studies with intense focus. Because universities in Poland were closed to women, she joined the Flying University, a clandestine educational initiative that welcomed female students and fostered critical thinking. Unable to study science formally in her home country, she made a pact with her sister. Maria would work as a governess to support her sister's studies in Paris, and later her sister would return the favor. For several years, she toiled away in remote households, using every spare moment to educate herself in physics and chemistry. Finally, at age 24, she moved to Paris and enrolled at the Sorbonne. It was here, despite being financially strapped and often surviving on little more than bread and tea, that she soared academically. She graduated at the top of her class in physics in 1893 and earned a second degree in mathematics the following year. In 1894, she met Marie Curie, a fellow scientist who shared her love of knowledge and experimentation. Their partnership blossomed, both romantically and professionally. The two were married in 1895 and began what would become one of the most groundbreaking scientific collaborations in history. While studying the mysterious phenomenon of radiation, recently discovered by Henri Becquerel, the Curies set out to understand its nature. They isolated radioactive isotopes, and in the process discovered polonium and radium, two elements that emitted astonishing levels of energy. Marie Curie coined the term radioactivity to describe the spontaneous emission of rays from atomic nuclei. At a time when atomic theory was still in its infancy, this was revolutionary. Her meticulous experiments not only revealed a new physical property but suggested that atoms were not indivisible, as once believed. The significance of this discovery cannot be overstated. It laid the foundation for nuclear physics, atomic energy, and even modern medical treatments. Their work earned them the Nobel Prize in Physics in 1903, which they shared with Henri Becquerel. Though initially omitted, Marie's name was later included after Pierre insisted that she be recognized for her equal contributions. After Pierre's sudden demise in 1906, Marie was devastated. But she was not defeated. She assumed his teaching position at the Sorbonne, becoming the university's first female professor. She continued her research on radioactivity, refining techniques for isolating radioactive isotopes and investigating their properties. In 1911, she was awarded her second Nobel Prize, this time in chemistry for her discovery of radium and polonium and her investigation into their properties. She remains the only person to receive Nobel Prizes in two different scientific fields. Her fame grew, but so did the scrutiny. A widowed woman in science was viewed with suspicion. She endured media backlash in France. Despite the personal and public attacks, she held fast to her work and her convictions. During World War I, Curie recognized that X-rays could be used to save soldiers' lives. She developed mobile radiography units, known as Little Curies, and trained medical personnel to use them. It is estimated that over 1 million soldiers benefited from her wartime innovations. Her work took a physical toll. Unaware of the dangers of prolonged radiation exposure, Curie often handled radioactive materials without protection. She stored vials in her pockets and kept samples in her desk. Eventually, her prolonged exposure to radiation would lead to aplastic anemia, the disease that claimed her life in 1934. Yet her legacy endured. She founded the Radium Institute, now Curie Institute, in Paris, which became a world-leading center for research on radioactivity and cancer treatment. Her daughter, Marie Curie, would also win a Nobel Prize, continuing the family tradition of scientific excellence. Curie's achievements opened doors for women in science. Today, fellowships, institutes, and schools bear her name. She continues to be a role model not just for female scientists, but for anyone who dares to challenge the status quo. Marie Curie's life is a testament to the idea that brilliance is not defined by privilege or gender, but by passion, perseverance, and principle. Her legacy reminds us that great discoveries often begin with great courage. In the modern era, where science drives innovation and change, Curie's story feels more relevant than ever. As we grapple with global health crises, climate change, and technological disruption, we can draw inspiration from her fearless inquiry and moral clarity. She wasn't merely interested in theoretical advancement. Her research had a humanitarian edge. She sought to use knowledge for the betterment of humanity. This ethic of service should guide scientific endeavors today. We must also remember the emotional depth of her life, the loss of loved ones, the fight against prejudice, the burden of fame. She was not just a genius, she was a human being, navigating the complexity of existence with resolve and grace. Marie Curie's contributions forever changed the landscape of science, but her influence transcends the laboratory. She redefined what was possible for women, what was imaginable in science, and what was meaningful in a life dedicated to truth. Thank you for watching, Brilliant Minds. May the legacy of Marie Curie inspire you to chase your passions with tenacity and grace. Until next time, stay curious and keep seeking.